Ooh, what's up, everybody? My name is OMG WTF LOL FTW BRB. Welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling vs. WWE, the weekly series where we take the events and shows that the WWE books, run them in the game to see just how well the WWE does against TEW, or if Total Extreme Wrestling will be the company to bring the WWE down to its knees. Today we are booking the July 20-something, I don't know. I'm a little bit behind here on my shows, so the title will tell you what date we're on. The July something edition of Smackdown. Main event of the night is the first round of the tag team title tournament. The New Day takes on Sanity. And then of course we have the Miz and Mrs. premiere party tonight, so I guess that's also kind of the main event, but it's not a match. Nonetheless, let's just go ahead and run this show. 64 solid C rating as Miz and Maurice and Monroe Sky, Miz's new baby girl, arrived to SmackDown in a limo. Maurice is looking great tonight, may I add. We get the hype for the Miz and Mrs. not only TV show, but the premiere party that will take place later on tonight. 46 solid D. 66 C plus, as we then get a recap of Shinsuke Nakamura's United States Championship title win, and then Randy Orton's return and attacks. I said attacks, plural there, meaning the one on SmackDown as well, on Jeff Hardy. And then that's when Randall himself comes out with a 68, this time it is a 68 C plus rated angle, as Randy Orton comes out to explain his actions, and he blames the fans. He blames the fans for pretty much turning on him. And typical, I don't want to say a typical heel thing, but it is kind of typical when you think about it. I'm going to touch the mic here, so you might hear a little noise in your ear. But it's a typical kind of heel thing where they blame the fans for everything. You know, it's your guys' fault what I'm going to do. And he ends it by pretty much telling them that he's going to end Jeff Hardy's career. Not just put him out of action, no, end his career. So, Randy Orton, he is, he's got a lot on his mind, it would seem. Although I'm not sure if it's the United States Championship or not, but WWE is still kind of pushing it as it is for a U.S. title, so I don't know. Nonetheless, this angle did get the crowd hotter. We then go to a 61 solid C rating as we hype up that AJ Styles' SummerSlam opponent will be revealed tonight. 58 C minus as we get a recap of the Evolution announcement. Of course, Evolution being the first ever women's pay-per-view. Good stuff there. And of course, this time Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and Bayley's opinion all was given on the pay-per-view, so they were featured this time around as well. 50 D plus rating as we get a reason as to why this opening match is happening. Zelina Vega and Lana apparently get into a bit of a backstage argument over who should be the one facing AJ Styles at SummerSlam. Andrade believes because of his performance last week against AJ, he should be the one facing, or challenging him for the title. Rusev says that Aiden cost him the championship, so it should be him to, get the title shot. But this, of course, leads to Rusev just straight up challenging Andrade, and we have our opening matchup. This advances the end of Rusev Day segment, and I'm sort of teasing a face turn between Rusev and Lana, and even Aiden here, because you don't know who's going to turn on who. And of course, with Lana and Rusev, squaring off against two heels, you got to sort of kind of tease it as well there. So, again, looks like the Rusev Day turns have begun, just similar like Sasha and Bayley all over again. It's like we're restarting the series. Opening match of the night gets a 57 C minus rating here, and a decent matchup. Andrade Cien Almas goes over Rusev in 10 minutes 13 seconds with the hammerlock DDT after a distraction from Aiden English. Also, Lana and Zelina Vega distracting Rusev as well, but Aiden playing the major role here as Lana and Zelina get a little bit of a argument on the outside of the ring and a little bit of a scuffle, which led to Aiden rushing down to try to separate the two. Rusev wondering why the hell Aiden's even down here. The distraction was there, which led Andrade to hitting him with the hammerlock, and 1, 2, 3, Andrade picks up the biggest victory of his WWE career so far. So good stuff there. Match itself, honestly, pretty good. Rusev looked really good in the beginning sections. Like, he was, I don't want to say he was dominating Andrade, but he was having like 90% of the offense. Like, I was wondering, like, why are they kind of jobbing him? But of course, then Andrade afterwards was getting a lot of his heat in there as well. So, good stuff. Good match between the two. Rusev and Lana have some pretty good chemistry. I'm not sure if we've seen that yet, but good stuff. Of course, we already know about Selena Vega and Andrade. Rusev and Lana, not the best faces, so the fans aren't reacting well, which is completely preposterous when you hear the fans talking about Lana Day and Rusev Day. Rusev with an in-ring performance of a 67, Andrade with a 52, and it gained some heat for the end of Rusev Day feud. Rumor has it, or should I, I've been watching a lot of the Bruce Pritchard's Something Else to Wrestle With because I've been working graves at my job, so it's like what I put on in the background. I'm all caught up now, though, unfortunately. But as a, oh God, what the hell? I don't know. That other guy would say, rumor and innuendo. Oh, God, he says it every time. But the rumor has it right now is that Vince McMahon apparently is very high up on Andrade Cien Almas after his performance against AJ Styles. So it makes me wonder where they're going to be taking him because he's getting a lot of opportunities and he's performing not only good or good, I don't know, on WWE TV, but he's performing, really great here on TEW as well. I mean, I don't know his popularity off the top of my head, but he's a 52 right now. Like that's awesome. But yeah, Andrade is a guy to look out for, I think. Keep an eye on him. He might just skip the mid-card scene altogether and go right for a WWE title sooner or later. No worker improvements, unfortunately, though. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and advance this segment here. 44, Solid D, once again hyping up the premiere party for Miz and Mrs. later on tonight. 47, Solid D, as R-Truth is kind of freaking out because he has a match against Samoa Joe, and after what Samoa Joe did to Ty Dillinger, he ain't down for that, but Ty psychs him up, gives him a bit of a pep talk, and Truth's like, you know what? Joe's about to go get got, pretty much, and he psychs, and Truth's like, that's all I needed. So it was actually a pretty decent segment here. I've always enjoyed R-Truth. I know some people really can't stand R-Truth, but I've enjoyed R-Truth in pretty much every role he's been in. I liked him in his crazy Little Jimmy phase. Like, I really liked him there. I thought that could have gone on for a long period. And in fact, I think if they played the cards right, it could still be what he's doing today. And I just think he's got great comedic timing. Like, he just understands delivery of lines and all that. So, but it's interesting to see how this is kind of a team, even though I don't believe we've ever seen them team with each other. But we probably have seen them team on like main events and all that, which at this time I don't do. There is a poll going on the Monday Night Raw video if you guys want to go vote on that. But last time I checked, nobody voted on it. So, but nonetheless, we'll hype up the R-Truth Samoa Joe match, which is coming up next. But before we get that, we have our commercial break, pointless commercial break that is. 87 B+ rating for Big Break John. Ooh, I put him off screen. My bad. 60 C rating here, solid C rating as we're backstage. Aiden and Lana are arguing back and forth. Aiden doesn't understand what Lana's deal is. He was just out there trying to help them. Lana's like, why are you even out there in the first place? Rusev gets irritated and he finally shuts them all up and says, you know what, maybe none of you aren't good enough for Rusev Day, pretty much. And he walks away, leaving Aiden and Lana just kind of sit there and think about what they've done, I guess. No worker improvements here. 63 solid C rating as we get a recap from Samoa Joe versus Ty Dillinger from last week, where Samoa Joe just dominated Ty pretty much. And then we go into our match with R-Truth, 57 C- rating in an extremely short matchup. Samoa Joe goes over R-Truth in 3 minutes, 29 seconds with the Coquino Clutch. Truth had an in-ring performance of a 33. Good God almighty. And Samoa Joe with a 70. Good God, Truth with a 33. That's horrible. I might have to look at Truth's ratings or something, because a 33, like, good Lord. Dude's at least, in my opinion, like in the 50s. I mean, maybe his age brought him down to like upper 40s, but a 33? Nonetheless, here, R-Truth looked actually pretty good in the opening minutes here. Like, he was getting a lot of good action, and like, I was impressed. I was like, damn, Truth, I haven't seen you do stuff like this since you were in TNA. But it wasn't there to last long, and that's probably why they were doing stuff like that. Now that I even think about it, Samoa Joe and R-Truth were both in TNA, I believe, around the same time. So probably harken back to some of their TNA things, since they haven't fought each other in so long. Nonetheless, Joe easily defeats R-Truth by making him pass out to the Coquina Clutch. Joe is improving in performance. Good on Joe. 46 solid D rating as we announce the tag team tourney, with our first match being between the New Day and Sanity. Of course, featuring all 3 members of the New Day and all 3 members of Sanity. 36 D- as Dasha Fuentes is backstage and interviews Asuka about the evolutionary announcement of the pay-per-view, first ever women's pay-per-view, all women's pay-per-view. Asuka is so excited about it, but then goes on to say Billie Kay is not ready for Asuka, and generic promo from Asuka, nothing too special here at all. But in fact, to be honest, this was one of those weird promos. Like, I never understood Shinsuke Nakamura and Asuka's little mystique that people say they have, like when Nakamura's doing that weird arm thing and all that. Like, I don't really understand what he's doing per se, but whatever. I let it slide because it's not that big of a deal to me and all that. But then you got someone who like Asuka who kind of turns it up a notch. She's always like waving her arms in her face and like screaming, I this up, like it's like that wasn't a mock of. I wasn't trying to make like a Japanese thing, by the way. There, I didn't really know what to say, so that's why I kind of rambled. But you know how she just kind of like raises her voice up and down like all the time, like I am so excited. Like it's just like, what are you doing? Like I understand that sort of kind of thing. It's just like it's lost on me. It's a little weird. Like it doesn't make me hate her. It just makes me go, okay, that was something else. Interesting. But with that being said, like I said, generic promo from Asuka. 42 solid D rating as the Iconics then also express their excitement over Evolution and then explain how, they're better than Asuka. Generic promo from the Iconics. Again, nothing special. We go to our matchup, 45 solid D rating here in an extremely short match. Asuka goes over Billie Kay in 3 minutes, 1 second with a spin kick. Asuka really off her game tonight, which is unfortunate. Color commentary did help. Asuka with an in-ring performance of a 42, just 2 points above Billie Kay. For one, oh gosh, I didn't mean to do that. Billie Kay, I think, has been improving. I think she was doing pretty bad before, so now that she's at a 40, it shows that she is getting up there and pop a little bit. But Asuka, she's off her game, of course, so, that has an effect, but that's still not too bad of a rating for Asuka as well, Although, like I said, I don't remember what she normally does. Maybe she does like a 50 or something for all I remember. 71 B- rating as we go to a little segment backstage with Shinsuke Nakamura, who just mocks Jeff Hardy, how close he was to being United States champion. And he, of course, then warns Orton, saying that, he bites back pretty much, so... That's why I'm like, what's with this Orton feud? Like, he wants to go after Jeff Hardy, but now we got Nakamura still kind of standing there like, oh, hello, I'm still here. It's like, move on. Orton doesn't care about you. 47 solid D rating as we get hype for the Becky Lynch versus Carmella match. Of course, if Becky beats Carmella, she will face Carmella at SummerSlam. And then again, AJ Styles' SummerSlam opponent will be revealed, and that's going to be next. 64 solid C rating as Paige introduces the champion. AJ hypes up SummerSlam and how he's gone through Dean Ambrose. Well, not Dean Ambrose. I don't think he mentioned Dean Ambrose, but he's gone through John Cena and Kevin Owens and all these other guys. He wants to know who he's facing at SummerSlam. He signs the contract. Out comes James Ellsworth, of all people. And he's like, I've beaten you before, and I came back to the WWE because I want to be WWE champion. Paige goes on to take care of it, calls him an utter joke. James Ellsworth, of course, offended by this, begins to call Paige a joke and then poke fun at her. This leads to James getting fired. Sucks to be James Ellsworth. So James Ellsworth is fired, and he's dragged out of the arena and kicked out. During all this commotion, Samoa Joe attacks AJ Styles from behind, and he beats down on the champ, putting him in the Coquina Clutch and making him pass out before signing the contract and revealing that he will be the one to face AJ Styles for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam. And my God, I'm excited for this match. You talk about their days in TNA. I mean, AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, I believe, own the only 5-star match, or at least the first 5-star match that TNA ever got, which of course had Christopher Danielson with it as well. They've had some great matches back in the day. We haven't seen them face each other in so long, so I'm excited for this match, kind of for nostalgia reasons, I guess, in a way, because I remember growing up on these two fighting each other, but also because I know they're going to deliver. James Ellsworth getting fired. I don't believe he's truly fired, but I enjoy James Ellsworth's work. I hope he's not fired, even in this segment alone. I think he's a good heel. He comes out there. He knows that he's nothing to be taken seriously, so he's just a good Weasley kind of heel. Like, I really enjoy his work, and I really hope he doesn't get fired. You know, he does stick around, because I feel like he's got that JOB status, that, you know, he's a true jobber that has character, you know. So no matter how many times he loses, people are still going to hate him because he's James Ellsworth, and you got to keep someone like that. Like, he has name value, and whoever beats him is going to, you know, kind of get a little bit of a rub. Like, not a huge rub, but it's going to be like, oh, look, there, you know, he's in the ring with James Ellsworth now. Now he's starting to take on more name value guys or something. Again, it's not like a huge rub, but James Ellsworth is the guy that got Braun Strowman over. Am I wrong? Okay. Anyway, Byron Saxton pretty weak at the announce table. Thanks a lot, Byron. Angle got the crowd hotter. Did deserve better announcing, though. AJ Styles' performance was good. James Ellsworth looked lost out there, which, again, what's unfortunate. I don't agree. Samoa Joe came across well, and that goes ahead and starts the storyline. Kind of a weak way to start the storyline, though, because we didn't see Joe attack AJ. We just kind of go to the camera to see Joe already with the coquina clutch on AJ Styles. So kind of a weak way to start it, but it is a way to start it nonetheless. Paige developing better performance skills as well. Good for her. 65 solid C rating as we get a recap of Samoa Joe's beatdown on AJ Styles. This time actually seeing Samoa Joe enter the ring and go after AJ, not just, you know, the quick recap of, you know, him already in the ring like we did in the actual angle. So we actually get to see Joe, you know, beat him down, the full beatdown, and sign the contract. 47 solid D as Paige confronts Samoa Joe pretty much. When this originally happened, I was like, oh, maybe Joe wasn't supposed to challenge AJ, but just did it himself. But Paige went ahead and ruined that by saying, you know, when I picked you to challenge for the title, I wasn't expecting that. I thought it kind of might have been an interesting idea if Joe kind of was like more of a, I saw my opportunity and I struck. I thought it would have been a cooler idea, but we went with this nonetheless. But she confronts Joe, and, you know, Joe said, if you didn't expect that, then you have no idea what, you know, what I'm all about, pretty much. He walks off. Carmella enters the scene. She's not too happy that Paige fired James Ellsworth, but it doesn't matter because she's beaten Charlotte Flair twice. She's beaten Asuka twice. And she's going to beat Becky Lynch right now, pretty much. So there you have that. Gain some heat, not hit, for Carmella and Becky Lynch's feud. We then jump into the said matchup here. If Becky Lynch beats Carmella, she will go on to face Carmella at SummerSlam for the title. 45 solid D rating in a poor matchup. Becky Lynch does indeed go over Carmella in 8 minutes 28 seconds with the disarmor, making her tap out in the middle of the ring and earning herself her title match. She will go on to SummerSlam. Becky with an in-ring performance of a 42, Carmella with a 39. Color commentary helping out here. No worker improvements though, which is unfortunate. This was an okay match. Carmella got a little bit in, but she's really just kind of like the classic heel with a bunch of cheating tactics, if anything. But she got her heat in. She was looking all right, but this is, I guess, a sign for things to come, and hopefully they step it up in the actual match. But for what it wasn't bad. It was a good storytelling match. In fact, that was our storytelling match of the night. 46 solid D rating as once again the Miz and Mrs. Premier Party is hyped up, and the New Day versus Sanity in the tag team tournament is next. 55 C- as we get a quick little promo from the Bludgeon Brothers, who don't care who win the tournament because whoever wins the tournament will just have to get a bludgeoning at SummerSlam. I was going to say, you know I pressed it. Main event time, 59 solid C rating here. New Day versus Sanity, and I guess this might be the end of their feud, although I'm not going to pull the trigger just yet. But this could be the end of the feud. Nonetheless, And a decent matchup here. The New Day, being represented by Big E and Xavier Woods, goes over Sanity, of course being represented by Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf. And 8 minutes, 6 seconds after Xavier Woods goes over Wolf with the up, up, down, down tag team maneuver after a distraction from Kofi Kingston. Also, Big E distracted by Eric Young during this match, and both Uso brothers were on commentary for this match, so I just went ahead and added Jimmy because I believe he's the more popular of the two. Decent matchup here, nothing too special, but a good showcase of the two members of Sanity that we know the little about. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. We don't know much about them, and it got a little bit of a showcase, especially for Wolf. Wolf did end up picking up, or getting the pin, I should say, or taking the pin, I should say, as we had a little bit of, shenanigans on the outside between Eric Young and Big E, which, of course, led to more shenanigans. Eric Young tries to get involved. Kofi Kingston takes him down, which, of course, leads to Alexander Wolf being distracted by Kofi Kingston because he's going after Eric Young, and that allows Big E to pick him up. Xavier Woods to hit the up, up, down, down. 1, 2, 3, and the New Day pick up I believe, their first victory over Sanity at this time. Kofi Kingston doing some good work ringside, as was Eric Young. Jimmy Uso pretty weak at the announce table here. They were like a bunch of jokers on the commentary team tonight. Big E with an in-ring performance of a 60. Xavier Woods with a 60. Killian Dane with a 45, and Alexander Wolf with a 41. So Wolf, of course, the worst, but he is getting better. I remember his 30s. And then afterwards, we move on to a 45 solid D rating here. For a moment, it looks like the Usos are about to go after the New Day after the match. But then the Bars music hits, and Cesaro and Sheamus make their kind of return. We haven't seen them in a while now. But they're back, and they come out to pretty much hype up their match against the Usos next week, how they're going to go ahead and beat the Usos and then reclaim championship gold by beating the Bludgeon Brothers at SummerSlam, because they don't just set the bar, they are the bar. And yes, I did and still am doing the thumb thing they do when they say their, I don't know, that little thing they do with their hand. So next week we'll see the Bar versus the Usos. I think that might be a first time match too. 56 C- rating as Miz and Maurice are talking to Paige backstage. Miz covers Baby Monroe's ears. And, he's like, you're supposed to get a babysitter. And she goes, I did get a babysitter. And Sin Cara is revealed to be the babysitter. He's got, like, a very interesting mask with, like, all bunch of flags on it. Miz and Maurice just decline pretty much, and they head out to the ring because Monroe's going to make her televised debut, apparently. And then we jump into the premiere party, 65, solid C rating here, as Miz and Maurice hype up the Miz and Mrs. TV show that is going to be debuting, or has already debuted, on the USA Network. They go to show a highlight video for, a little bit of a sneak preview of the show. But apparently, Daniel Bryan sabotaged the video and only played a bunch of embarrassing moments in the Miz and Maurice's relationships and career. This is kind of interesting because when it first played, I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Like, I didn't think it was a commercial for the show, but I just thought it was like WWE's way of hyping the show. I didn't really think it was all that bad. Like, I was like kind of caught off guard when Daniel Bryan was like, oh, my bad, Miz. I was like, oh, that was supposed to be like an insult or something. Now I get it. Bryan says he's going to come out and congratulate the Miz and join the party himself. He does indeed do that by beating up the security guards, getting in the ring. Miz and Maurice are, they're frantic parents right now because their baby's in the ring, and Miz is just like, come on, I've got my child with me, Bryan acts like he's going to punch the Miz, which is pretty gruesome. I mean, come on, Bryan, he has a baby with him, or at least we thought he had a baby with him, because Miz throws Monroe Sky. Yeah, he throws Monroe Sky at Daniel Bryan. I'm not making this stuff up. Bryan, of course, freaks out and catches the baby. And shocker of them all, Miz shocked the world because it wasn't Monroe Sky at all. Why would he bring Monroe Sky to the Ford Center, a city like this? It was just a baby doll, and he used the moment to kick Bryan in the head, hit him with the skull-crushing finale, and get one up on the GOAT, as they say, as we end off the show with Miz standing tall over DB. Gain some heat for the Bryan Miz storyline, and this was a great segment, like, great stuff. Really was. And you know, the thing is I was wondering too, we've seen like King Maxwell, for instance. I can't believe I just called him King Maxwell. He's just Maxwell Hardy. We've seen him like at wrestling events and like TNA, and I'd imagine that has to be pretty hard on a baby's ears, how loud it can be. So when they were bringing, you know, air quotations, Monroe to the ring with them, I was like, golly, that's gotta. How do they do that? Like, that babies must be crying, like her eardrums must be ruptured. But you know, there you go. It worked out. Good stuff altogether. I'm enjoying what they're doing so far with this. Maurice is improving in acting as well, so good for her. So we end off the show. We get a 74 B- rating, increasing our popularity in 19 regions, but also losing us popularity in 12 regions. Huh. Interesting. So there you have that. We lost some popularity on that show. It makes me wonder if it's because John Cena wasn't actually on the show. And if it was because John Cena wasn't on the show, that also makes me wonder if John Cena's the reason why we've been getting those good ratings that I haven't been able to figure out. Could be a reason. Although, that'll be a reason we figure out for another time, because that is going to be the end of this video. As you can tell, it is time for me to go watch 205 Live and catch up on that. So, next time I see you guys, it will be for 205 Live. 205 Not So Live, I should say. But again, my name has been OMG WTF LOLFTWBRB. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, do me a favor. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe if you have not already. And as always, don't forget to share this video with your friends, Facebooks, Twitters, Instagrams. I don't give a damn. Anyone you feel out there who would enjoy my content, give it a share. Help your boy out. Get some new subscribers up in this bitch. And as always, I've got my buddies down below that you can check out. ZachManziNVO over on Twitch. Raging Yoshi here on YouTube. Highly recommend checking them both out, as well as anybody else down in my description. And I will see you guys for 205 Not So Live. Have a good one.